Thank you very much, Val Eju, sports analyst today, FM from
programs have been done by the Sports Ministry to achieve something great.
All right. I want to say a very big thank you to you, Val Eju, sports analyst today, FM Port Harcourt. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, so
take a quick break.
We'll take a quick break right now, and we'll come back with another guest, and we'll be talking politics this time around. Just stay with us.
Elections in Nigeria is characterized by fraud.
It is not pure election because of the way they conduct it.
The elections are here again.
For us in Akwa Ibom State,
it is another opportunity to elect
credible and potential leaders.
But I see some of them are not really credible.
In fact, when you talk about the credibility in the Nigerian system, it's absent.
As for the aspirants,
what are your plans to better the lives of citizens and ensure that it is not just another era of political promises?
Some aspirants came up with so childish kind of manifesto, something that you know that they cannot do.
Even if after campaigning and promising heaven and earth, you find out that by the time they come in, they cannot do 50% of what they promised.
Because they are coming to see this. If they don't use this, they will not achieve what they want. So it is the normal thing they must use to convince a man that does not have a proper ideology to vote them.
So it's just a mere slogan. It's just a mere slogan to use and have their right into power.
What do you, the people, think about the elections?
The electoral process has been marred by malpractice and all of that.
That's a bad thing in Nigeria. All election night is about money.
Definitely, no matter what the reforms they are carrying out, there will still be rigging.
It's about the aspirants, the manifesto,
the people's view, an in-depth analysis.
That godfatherism is what has eaten deep into our political system. It has become a cankerworm that has left our political system into a corrupt system.
If it is not godfatherism, somebody like me, I will become the counselor. So because I don't have a godfather, it will not work.
Because people feel that they will come and invest, they need to get something back home. So the major aim is not about the people, It's about their family and themselves.
Godfatherism will not help the politics to grow. It won't help democracy to grow.
Vote buying will even be more this time around because these people, most of them have stolen a lot of money, and they will use this money to buy votes.
Who gets to represent you in government at all levels?
Well, for me, the new breed aspirants, I would love the new breed aspirants. But for those, there are some of them that will not, I would say, definitely, I wouldn't want them to come back definitely to power.
Join us on Akwa Ibom Decides every Saturday and Sunday by 3 p.m. each day, exclusive to Spectrum Television, as we take on the aspirants set to lead you.
A knowledge of global businesses, economic activities, a new wave of the stock market, forex market, cryptocurrencies, and NFTs creates new dynamics towards emerging market millionaires and billionaires. From the dot-com era to the oil booms, the fundamental news drives the market. This is Business 360, taking you to the business around the globe. Join us from 11:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. weekdays, exclusive on Spectrum Television. Business 360, your prism to world businesses.
Thanks for still being there. It's Rise and Shine, and we are progressing with the lineup of things this morning. We're about to bring you another conversation about the things happening in Akwa Ibom state politics. We have seen a recent emancipation of people from the People's Democratic Party to the Young Progressive Party, and a lot of other gists, happening within the architecture of politics in Akwa Ibom State. We recently saw Obongbasi Albert being declared the gubernatorial candidate for YPP, and during that declaration, we heard his deputy gubernatorial candidate, give a speech, and he made a very what would we call it? A comment that didn't quite sit well with a lot of people. So those are some of the things that we'll be analyzing this morning. And on the show this morning, we have Annie Justin joining us, our political analyst for the morning. Good morning, Annie Justin.
Thank you. Yeah, good morning.
And then we'll just say happy birthday to you live on set of Rise and Shine. It was your birthday like some few weeks back, but we didn't have you here, so we're not. Yeah, 2 days.
Few days back.
Yeah, a few days back. So we couldn't say happy birthday. So happy birthday to you. And many thanks for joining us this morning on the conversation. A lot of things happening in the political atmosphere of Akwa Ibom State. And it always gives me joy, anytime we sit down here to talk about our state, because it is only this one state that we have. We don't have any other state except this. Okay, so yes, with the spring up of things, we saw a mammoth crowd. I would call it a mammoth crowd because I was opportunity to also be there, in passing. We saw a mammoth crowd, pull out for Obongbasi Albert of the YPP, Young People's Progressives Party, some few weeks back as well, as he, openly declared his intention to run on the platform of the YPP. Maybe you can just give us your thoughts from that angle, and then we'll also talk about his deputy. Please, can someone help me with the name now?
Okay, AIG Anwana Amber.
Yes, former, yeah, retired now, Anwan Amber. Yes, we saw him, and some people are actually saying that, look, that he's not like a core politician now, that he's just coming on board. But let's leave that aside for now. We'll look at that, his speech, the statement he made. So what's your thoughts on, Obongbasi Albert as a YPP candidate?
YPP has come to stay in Akwa Ibom. It has come. I mean, it's making waves. It's like a conquest. It's like what we are having. The third force is rising in many dimensions. Nationally, we see the Labour as the third force. Right now in Akwa Ibom State, YPP is building up to become a very formidable third force in the political landscape of Akwa Ibom State. And Obongbasi Albert is a politician that is loved by his people. So we had already expected that him moving from the PDP, a lot of people will follow him. He has a massive following. And about AIG Amber retired. AIG Amber is not a core politician, as you would say, but I guess it's time we bring a lot of technocrats into the scene, because we are getting tired of always bringing these politicians who recycle them and bring them again. We need to start having an outlook that is quite different from the core politicians. I mean, AIG Amber is a security expert. He has been with the police. He has had a stellar performance with the police. And these days, insecurity is a national crisis in Nigeria. So if we begin to bring in security experts, maybe it's just one way of preferring solutions to our insecurity problems. So apart from that, I know that his wife is a deep grassrooter. She's a good grassrooter in the Oron Federal Constituency. She just resigned as the essay to the governor. So with her in the scene too, I think the YPP is trying to brace up on all ends and make sure they go into the campaigns and the elections fit as a fiddle and ready. We also know that if you look at the way the political demographics is stood right now, you see that even the PDP took their own deputy from Oron too. So I think it's wisdom for the YPP to go in there and at least try to share that bulk of votes from the Oron. We must recall the Oron nation has 5 large, massive local governments. So I think the idea is to go in there and try to have the votes, break it up and share it equally, if possible, rather than letting the PDP pick it all up.
I like the new term that you have coined. I know it's being coined in the political space, the rise of the third force. I think we're actually really experiencing a revolution when it comes to the demographic of politics in Nigeria. I mean, these are not terminologies that we used to hear before, but I mean, the rise of the third force sounds like something that everybody should be expecting. But when you say dividing the votes into 2 halves, in the same place between PDP and YPP, it now looks like the race is between PDP and YPP in Akwa Ibom State. Is that the undertone?
Definitely, it's not. We have other parties, and we still have parties that will come into interplay, which for now we don't know, since they have cases in it. I mean, a few cases like the APC, they have a few cases here and there. But I was talking about the choice of the deputy governor coming from Oron. You will agree with me that politics is local, and a lot of people identify with politicians because of the locality, their base. So if the PDP choose someone from Oron Nation, you would know that there is no how the Oron people will not vote en masse, because it would have been termed as their daughter or their son, or one of them. So the YPP making their choice in Oron land too will somehow break that vote cache, because I mean, people will be strewn between choices of either you vote because of the deputy who is from Oron, the YPP, or you vote the PDP because of the deputy also who is from Oron. So I think it's a smart political choice, very smart one.
And you think that the assistant or former AIG is a better match for Obong Basi Albert?
I agree perfectly.
And then let me also say this. You also made mention of the fact that his wife is a grassrooter. And I was wondering, okay, so if his wife has this kind of political powers, being a grassrooter, she can penetrate even the grassroots. So why didn't his wife be the deputy governor instead of the AIG himself?
I'm also forced to ask that question, but I think it's more about choices. It's not a choice made by one person. They would have had a caucus. They would have sat down to analyze the pros and cons, the pluses and all what they stand to gain. I think with AIG and Wanamba retired, the wife will still do what she's supposed to do. I think they really want to bring in the security aspect, because when we get to the fields, you know that security plays a very pivotal role in elections. And I'm with someone as the IG who just retired. I think he has a full grasp on security detailing for elections. I mean, before now, we know how a lot of people used to use security apparatus to maybe skew the electioneering process to their favor.
Okay.
So with AIG Amber there, you would be able to know the right formula to make sure he braces the security. And mind you, you know, he is now being an opposition, just like the NNPP is also opposition. The state party, the party at the center, is still the PDP. And they would have a way to use security forces. But with the AIG in, I think they are trying to pull a deuce.
So more like that was a smart move from the ANPP.
I believe it's a very
Now
smart
let's talk about, you know, that particular comment by the deputy governorship candidate of the YPP. For me, I wish we had clips of that so we could play so everybody could hear, but it has been on the news for like the longest of time. And then coming out to say that he's a spare tire and there will be no need. This is not me quoting him verbatim now, but in just, okay, let's quote him. Okay, so he says that he promised that as a spare tire, his loyalty is already 100% to the incoming governor, the party and Akwa Ibom people, even as he promised to bring his wealth of experience in supporting his principal if elected as governor. But I think if we had gotten that clip, there was something he said that he will not even be in, like he will not be functional.
No need to use the spare tire because of his principal.
Because the principal is fit already. So it makes me begin to wonder, what is the essence of the office of a deputy governor? If for him already he's saying that, look, I'm not going to be functional until because my principal is fit, then why acquire that office? Why want to vie for that office?
Okay, first and foremost, I think we are just beginning to hear that conversation for the first time, but it has been there. In 2001, the then special advisor to President Obasanjo on political matters, Dr. Chukwuemeka Izefe, I think that was his name, was the first person that actually made that comment about the office of the deputy governor being a spare tire. Yes, I recall that. That was in a lecture, a seminar in Abuja, 2001, the Shehu Shagari, a World Summit seminars, and he made that comment and said we should start looking at our constitution again. That actually it is one of the it is needed that for you to be able to stand as a gubernatorial candidate, you have to provide a running mate who is going to deputize you. But at the same time, the constitution does not give any responsibility, clear-cut responsibility for the office of the deputy governor. And we must look at it constitutionally. I think section 191 of the 1999 constitution as amended equally says that the governor shall assign specific responsibilities to the deputy as he deems fit. So if we want to look at it from the beginning, from time immemorial, the role of a deputy governor or even a vice president has been that of a spare tire.
Oh, wow.
It's a spare tire in the context that it will never be used except the main tire has an issue. The deputy governor will never be an acting governor except the governor is either unfit, ill, out of state, impeached, or dead. So,
now that is right. That is when there are exceptions, you know, to ill health or death.
Yeah.
That the deputy governor is being made as acting governor.
Acting governor.
As
That's
the
now
office,
the main tire
as the office of the deputy governor.
Yeah.
I think that role should be assigned.
There is no role assigned by
yeah,
the
but there
Constitution.
are actually no roles assigned,
Yes.
because that was the angle I was even going to come
Yes,
from
of course.
before you started talking. If we do an analysis of all deputy offices across
Even
the
the vice
nation, even
president,
the vice
there is
president,
no
the same
role.
thing. But
The
in
governor
recent
could
times,
assign,
we've seen
actually.
Vice President Yemi Osibajo really be functional in certain areas. But let's stick to deputy governors. They actually really don't have any roles.
If we really have
Then
to
there's no need for that office, if you ask me.
There is a need, actually. What of
to
in a
deputize.
situation where something happens to the governor?
Apart from
So you just sit and be praying for something to happen to the
But
governor
sometimes
for
they
you to
send them for
deputize.
ceremonial duties.
That's what I'm saying. As apart from something happening, you deputize. The work of deputizing means that the governor could send you on any errand. The governor could assign a commission for you to head.
Yes.
Just like we must draw these parallels because they are the context that will make us have a better grasp of it.
Yeah.
Remember when Atiku was vice president to Obasanjo? The concession of public utility companies, what we call privatization, was assigned to his office by the president. And that does not mean that the next vice president that comes will be assigned that same office. Okay. And in the case of Osibanjo, to show you how helpless the office of the deputy governor or even the vice president is, if you recall, in the absence of President Buhari in 2017, I think he went on a medical vacation. When Osibanjo became the acting president, there was an issue about the office of the SSS director. What was his name? Is it Dwara? Yes, Dwara was his name. Osibanjo removed him and put someone else. And when the president came back on September, he removed the person he put. That is to show you how helpless the office of either a deputy governor or... And I mean, as a deputy governor, when you're deputizing, you must actually accept that role of being a spare tire. Because when you want to do more than that role, you might be at loggerheads with your superior, being the governor or the president, as the case may be. I mean, we still have a sour relationship between Obasanjo and his deputy Atiku, because Atiku was trying to be a very formidable vice president. We have the case of Ondo State, where what's his name, Mr. Alfred Ajayi, the deputy governor of Ondo, has been impeached because he was taking up a lot of roles that the governor said he's trying to become so powerful or he's trying to be famous, and he had to decamp. So as a deputy governor, you are actually a spare tire. And we know that this AIG, Anwanamba, is a widely read man. He's a linguist. So he must have studied these things. He must have had this conversation over time. So he just brought it to fore. Yes.
So it's not necessarily something that should be...
No, it shouldn't spark any controversy. Yeah. He knows his roles, but that is actually the role of a deputy governor.
Anyway, some people have said that he's just trying to be political. That's more like a political statement. And for me, I still can wrap my head around that.
But you also accept something. He's trying to draw an allegory to his boss, direct boss, that he's fit.
Yes.
That's Basi Albert Akpan is fit. That even without him, Basi can do what he has to do. But because of constitutional provisions, he has to be a deputy. And that even as a deputy, he's sure that the main tire is good enough to take the ride throughout.
Okay, so let's just have this one more and then we'll wrap things up, because we need to go over to people's view. Now, the governorship candidate for the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, in the person of Senator John James Akpan-Udo-Dege, has said that his party is the only opposition party that has what it takes to unseat the People's Democratic Party. Now, let's take it back to people's view. Okay. Where a particular person that, was a respondent on People's View said that it's a culture here in...
PDP is a culture.
Yeah, that PDP is a culture.
It's a religion.
Yes, it's a religion here in our Akwa Ibom state, meaning that from one PDP person to the next PDP person as a governor. Now, I made a comment when she started off the conversation about the excessive exodus of people from PDP into other parties, and that's why we have a lot of parties break out from there. But let's look at what James Akwanudo is saying. AMPP, is it AMPP now? New Nigeria, NNPP, being the only party in Akwa Ibom State presently that can unseat PDP from Akwa Ibom State.
If you ask me, I would say that is a statement of choice because he is in the NNPP. I mean, you have to sell your product. You have to sell your product as best as you can. And for today, that is his platform. That is the platform he's seeking the office of the governor from. So he would likely say that. He would likely say he's the only. But if you ask me, opposition in Akwa Ibom State has always been there. But when we say PDP is a religion, as the cliché was generally said then, it's not the same thing today. The dynamics have changed drastically. It's quite a different ball game. The crop of opposition we are seeing now could actually stem the PDP because as you said, we are having a lot of defections. We never used to have that.
Okay, so I think we'll just have to put a pause on you and then link up with People's View, which is standing by, and maybe you just also respond to some of the things that they will be saying. Okay, so it's over to you now, Humble, from the streets of Uyo. Let's find out what people are saying about the headlines making it on our national dailies this morning.
The phone with me, so you tell me. No, you just stand together. Stand at this side. Stay on the phone with me. Good morning, Janice and Oyai. You are still watching Rise and Shine on Spectrum Television, and we move quickly to People's View, where there are reactions and opinions and views of people on the various headlines we have on our national dailies and local tabloid. And we'll begin a review with the Punch newspaper. Recall that Wike has been hosting APC governors led by the APC Governor Forum. And recently, the Lagos State Governor, someone who visited Wike, and that has caused tension within Amechi's camp. And that has led us to the headline that says, Wike's pally romance with Tinubu's men rattles Amechi's base. And please, what do you have to say?
All these things they are doing is they are just wasting their time and they are just deceiving the whole nation. Because how can someone invite all the governors for what? APC have already failed the nation. So going to Wike to do all those manner of stuff they are doing is just wasting of time. So all I'm encouraging all the nation is that go and get your PVC and vote for the obedient. So waiting for what they are saying is just.
You said the APC has failed the nation. Yes. What precisely, particular which aspect have they failed the nation?
They have failed the nation. Even as I'm talking to you, if you go to so many places, as in the country is already scattered. The insecurity everywhere, things are so costly. As in, they promise us they are going to change the country, they are going to change everything. But imagine everything is so foolish. All their statements is just to waste time. So let me tell you guys, don't listen to any governor, all these politicians, all they are deceived West. Don't listen to them. All I'm saying is that we youths now, we are going to take it all. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Wike is romancing with Tinubu's men, and that has caused a tension within Amechi's camp. What's your take on this?
Well, my view may be little bit different from my brother's view. Wike's action is justified. Wike's action is justified. The manner the PDP treated Wike, there is no way you will beat a child and the child will not cry. When those people run away 2015 and left PDP, assuming Wike followed them and they ran away, PDP could have not in place by now. So after using Wike to achieve the return and hijack every structure of the party, Wike's action is very, very justify. I'm behind him 100% because he's telling them nothing but the truth. After 8 years of a Northerner, and he went and took ticket to the North again. So you want Northerners to take over from President Buhari, who is a Northerner, who is going. The same Fulani man who is going out, you are bringing in a Fulani man again. Oh, I support Wick. I'm behind him. Anywhere he's going, I support him physically and spiritually because the young man is telling them nothing but the truth.
What he's doing is partly with the APC as the right thing?
No, I'm seeing him partly with APC, but he hasn't made a comment yet. He may not even with APC by now because he may go to other place. He would tell his people to support any of the candidates, and the river people are ready to follow him. Even some people from outside the river state will follow him.
All right, thank you. That takes us to another headline from the Igbo nation, APC and PDP at war. The politics within Akwa Ibom State. What's your reaction to that?
You know, sometimes these politicians, they are just playing games. So we don't have time for them. If they need to kill themselves, that is for them. But all we are praying is just we need God to come and intervene in the nation and help us, because all these bad politicians, they have destroyed so many lives with their evil deceit, with their deceives. So don't even as in try to put yourself in their politics game, because tomorrow they will come and reconcile to themselves. So don't mind whatever they are doing. All I'm saying is that we need to take our country back from our bad government.
All right, we have noticed recently the cases of insecurity following on the month of June, precisely 5th of June, some unsuspected gunmen entered St. Francis Catholic Church and killed not less than 40 people, and so many were injured. And right now, that takes us to a headline from the Nation newspaper that says 5 suspects, 1 accomplice held over our church attack. What do you have to say about this?
You know, insecurity is everywhere now because people are dying. People are really dying, and you don't know what else to do. All I'm saying is that we need good government, because our bad government have already destroyed so many things. They are the one even sponsoring them. So there is nothing to hide again, because we all know the truth that is all about the country. So all we need is to get the right people, and they will take over everything.
In the aspect of insecurity, what's your suggestion?
Well, my suggestion is that even if you do anything to as in, I don't know how I'm going to put it, but I'm telling you that insecurity is already there because there is no good government in it.
Thank you very much. Concerning the recent 40 people were killed, where we have a headline on the Nation newspaper, 5 suspects, 1 accomplice held over our church attack. What's your reaction to that?
Okay. My reaction over the issue is that if security agencies, they say they have arrested people. If they are arrested, it's good. They should do them according to what the law of the country. Unfortunately, I have 2 people who died in that instance. My people who are among those victims in the church. So, and the government should take action on it so that they will prevent those things that the country is witnessing now. Because our country is not good. That is the truth about it. The insecurity matter now is too much. I'm supposed to travel to go because of the insecurity, because the nation, the road.
What has happened presently that makes you not to travel?
Because of the kidnapping everywhere in the roads. So I'm not comfortable with the security situation on the way. So I refuse to travel and I will not go.
Thank you very much. That's all we can take on People's View. Remember, all what has been said are the views of the people, and it does not represent the viewpoint of Spectrum Television. Here and now, we take you back to the studio with Uyai and Janice. Keep on watching Rise and Shine.
So much humble, very insightful conversations there from People's View. We heard, Nigerians give their 2 cents about the things that are on the front burners of our national dailies. In just 1 minute before we wrap up this segment of the show, do you have any reaction as an analyst to some of those conversations?
Yes, I do. When we hear these views, they are views that we share normally too. So the advice is always this is a social experiment. Nigerians should get their PVCs ready, and this time they should speak with one voice and make sure that they vote, and I'm going to assure them that their votes will count this time. So Nigerians should go out today, make their decisions, and make sure that at the end of the day, we stem out most of these problems we are having, so that we can have a great country. And mind you, Africa is watching us. Africa is looking at what we want to do. This might actually be a stepping stone to a better political climate across Africa.
All right.
So Nigerians should take it into their hands.
All
this
right.
is their destiny. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Annie Justin, political analyst. It's always a pleasure to have you on sets, to have you on set anyways. Okay, so at this point, as a concluding part of our broadcast, we just take our tidbits, and we will be starting with Did You Know? One of my favorite segments, actually.
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. The oldest word in the English dictionary is the word town. Danny said Owo town.
Did you did you know that?
No, I actually didn't know
I
that.
never thought about that. The oldest word in the dictionary is town. Okay.
It means, of course, mankind has been the oldest phenomenon on Earth. So
Yeah.
yes, clusters of human beings, town.
Yeah.
Okay, so we take our health tips for the day.
Yes, so your skin, for moisture and less of dehydrated skin, you just have to drink 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. Now, how many people actually remember to do that actually? Yeah, do you drink 6 to 8 glasses of water a day?
I used to have a really healthy culture of drinking water, but in recent times I've noticed that has really dropped. It feels like not having access to water the moment that you want it is, affecting that, and it's actually had an effect on my health. But then, of course, this is something we need to do: keep your skin as moisturized as possible.
Yes.
But then I was going to mention, just when you were going to respond to that, you had the sound of someone who was pitching for a skincare company for the moisture of your skin. All right, let's take the recipe for the day. African meal. We can always take that up anytime, any day. Quick meal to fix. All right, let's take our quote of today.
Definitely.
1,000 words will not leave so deep an impression as one deed. Henrik Ibsen, playwright. 1,000 words will not leave so deep an impression as one good or bad deed.
Yeah, definitely.
Great words.
Yeah, great there. So instead of you talk, but just put in more action. If you say, I love you, why not give me a gift to express it?
Well, that will be like a little sign that I have gotten. So that is fine. And that's the size of our show for this morning. We do hope that you enjoyed every single segment on our show this morning. Thank you very much for being a part of Rise and Shine. I am Uyai Anek, and we'll definitely see you tomorrow.
Of course, tomorrow is yet another date with us on this particular site. Thank you to all those that watched from whatever platform you watched from. Thank you so much. We'll see you again tomorrow. My name is Janice Kovum. Do have a great day.